Welcome to Be the Voice podcast, brought to you by Voices Magazine, where we are using our voices to shatter the silence. It's time to be informed, encouraged, and empowered with your favorite host, Dee
Good
Marie.
evening and welcome to Be the Voice podcast. This is your host, Dee Marie, and I am back in the studio. So excited to be back. I actually took a week off due to the Thanksgiving holiday, so I hope you all enjoyed your holidays. I hope it was fantastic. Mine was. We just did we had a small family gathering, so just like my mom and my sister and all of our kids and a little bit of extended family. So we had a great time. I didn't eat a whole lot like I thought I was going to eat, so that was a good thing. I think, when you cook, because I was in charge of the dressing and in charge of the greens, and let me tell you, they were fire, okay? But I think when you cook and try to taste your food and you kind of nibble, then by the time it comes for dinner, I mean, you've already eaten pretty much, so you're not even that hungry. So that's kind of what happened to me. But I hope you guys enjoyed your Thanksgiving. I hope you had a great break if you had a break last week. I hope you had a couple of days off. So hope you enjoyed that just to relax, or maybe you did some Black Friday shopping. I didn't do a whole lot of shopping, did a few things. So, but we're back, and I am your host, Dee Marie. And Be the Voice podcast is actually brought to you by Voices Magazine. And Voices Magazine is a magazine. It's an online magazine tailored to the voices of sexual abuse survivors. So if you have not read our magazine or have not even subscribed to it, I would really encourage that you do so. And don't assume that you have to be a survivor to read the magazine. It is actually for anyone that reads it. Gives you it is to inform, encourage, and empower. So it's really, really features amazing stories and just a great, great magazine. So if you're interested in reading, you want to purchase one of our magazines, you can go to our website, and that's www.vosasmagazine.com, and that's VOSASmagazine.com. All right, well, let's get into the program this evening. So, um, most of you all know I am a survivor of sexual abuse, and I talk about it often. If you've seen any of my podcasts, read any of the magazines, then you pretty much kind of know my story between myself and my sister. And so today, I wanted to talk to you about, because we've told our story. Me and my sister, we've talked about kind of how we have uh, how far we've come from when we told like 11 years ago, but I want to give you, to those who are listening to us and you are a survivor and you say, you know what, I hear you and I know you guys are doing great, but that's your story and not mine. How do I begin this journey to healing? I've kept this secret for so many years, which don't feel like you're alone. A lot of survivors do. They hold on to this secret for years. So, and you're wondering, how can I move past this? How can I begin to heal? What can I do? What steps can I take? Is it even possible? How do I face this trauma that I've kept hidden for so long? How do I tell my friends and family? What do I do? So tonight I'm going to give you some steps. Now, again, let me tell you, everybody's journey is their own. So what I'm giving you are just some practical things that you can do that can help you move towards your healing journey. Now, it's up to you on the orders that you want to take it, or how you want to do it. This is your journey. But these are some things that help me, and I believe that they are going to help you as well. So, just a couple of things that I just want to share with you on how you can begin this journey. Because on the other side is absolutely freedom. It is freedom, it is victory. Now, it is an ongoing journey. So don't think that, once you go through, I think a lot of times we think of healing, which is like a straight line up, and that is not how it works. Healing is crying, pain, being upset, maybe joy, maybe excitement, and then maybe regret. Maybe, I don't want to do this anymore. Quitting, starting over. All of that is part of your healing journey. So I want to share with you this evening some things that I did that kind of helped me overcome my past trauma of sexual abuse. I say overcome, yes. I don't get upset about talking about it anymore. I'm not ashamed. I feel like I am. I would say I'm definitely closer to being whole than I was before. Still got some things that I work through, and I think this is going to be ongoing until I'm no longer here on this earth. So, but there are a few steps that I took um, for me that kind of helped me to move along on my journey. And I just want to share this with you all as well. So, overcoming sexual abuse. So it is time to heal. And not only is it time, but it is possible. Okay. A friend of mine, Kira Cherie, had workshops that she would do called It's Time to Heal. And really just fantastic. And whenever I hear that, I think of her. And it's a way to let you know what? You have been down this road of survival for so long. And it's time to truly face what has happened to you. And again, this is your journey. And don't feel like that you have to do it alone. Definitely seek professional therapy. We're going to talk about that. Definitely seek out someone that is safe that you can share your secret with. So just know that you don't have to be on this journey alone, but you can get on this journey. Okay. So the first part, I will say, if you're looking to overcome, and not just sexual abuse, but it could be any type of past trauma that you have been through. And let me stop and let me preface this with I am not a professional counselor. Nothing that I say on this program is to give you any type of advice to go out and do everything that I tell you. These are just suggestions, things that help me, that I want to share that could possibly help you. Definitely seek out professional counseling. I'm going to say that throughout the entire night because it is very, very, very important to your progress, to your healing, to your journey, because they are there to help you through this process. So, the first thing when it comes to healing from sexual abuse or past trauma is acknowledgement. And you say, well, I know it happened, but to be honest, some people don't really acknowledge it. I had to truly come to grips that I had been sexually abused. I knew what had happened. I didn't have the words for it. But once I acknowledged that actually, yes, this did happen. And it was like, okay, now I have to face this next, step. What happens? Sexual abuse is one of the most damaging crimes ever committed because not only is there physical trauma, but there's mental trauma, emotional trauma, sometimes spiritual trauma that comes along with sexual abuse. So with it, now the physical scars can heal, but then there are mental and emotional scars that can last a lifetime. So the first step into healing is to admitting that you were violated. And sometimes I think this is difficult because of who did the violation. So it could be a family member, someone that you trusted, someone at your church, um, and that is when it becomes hard to acknowledge that this person actually violated you. So the first step is to admitting that you were violated. Now, we know that sexual abuse has been a taboo topic in our communities for years, especially in the African American community. We know that growing up, any one of us can tell you that what goes on in the house stays in the house. This is something that we were taught. You do not talk outside. You don't tell secrets, inside secrets outside. It's just something that we all know, and that's how we grew up. But it has been a taboo topic for many decades, many years. And I really believe it's because it's such an intimate violation. And I think it's just hard to talk about it. I mean, talking about sex in general, if you grow up even in the church, that's just something you don't talk about. So then to tell someone that somebody that you know violated you, it's an entire different beast. Okay. But many survivors, they live for years holding on to this secret. And with the secret comes denial, shame, guilt, and avoidance. We will avoid this. And I know I did. I avoided this topic for years. I wouldn't watch certain TV shows. I wouldn't watch, what was that movie? For Color Girls? I've never seen that. Precious? I've never seen that. There's just certain movies that I just will not watch. Even to this day, I just won't watch them. For one, it is setting boundaries for myself. And it is knowing my triggers and knowing what bothers me or disturbs my spirit, so I just will not watch it. So we'll get into that, but that's another thing. You got to set your boundaries. So with the secrets comes, like I said, denial, shame, guilt, and avoidance. You know, we have always been taught to leave the past in the past. Well, sometimes you have to go back in your past and you have to dig up those things, and the only way it's going to heal is that you got to dig up that scar. And no, it's not going to feel good, because it's like, why do I need to go back? Because you have to get to the root of the problem. If you think about some things that we go through now, because there are after effects of sexual abuse. And I think about, like, I always talk about relationships, how I struggled in that area. Um, feeling that I had to be in control. Those are effects of being sexually abused. And so even when I think about, well, why do I always have issues, in relationships? So I had to go back to the root of the problem. And the root is I had to go back and face the fact that I was sexually abused and deal with that trauma. So once you start there, now you can begin to peel back those layers of the other things that happens in your life that you're going to realize is a part of being sexually abused. Um, Now, in some cases, we know that, okay, there's some things in the past. Yes, you got to leave in the past, people that you don't need to be around or different things like that. Yes, we know that. But when it comes to dealing with traumatic events, sometimes we have to go back and face those things in order for us to begin to move forward. So sometimes you got to go back to move forward. Um, and yeah, just digging up those old wounds and beginning to move forward. Now, even if you have never told anyone about your secret, be sure that whoever you talk to is someone that is trusted. Like, you can trust them, because there's nothing worse than telling someone about something as traumatic as sexual abuse, and then it sets on another trauma. They could not believe you, or maybe say that you're lying, or maybe even they feel, awkward themselves about even discussing it. So I would say, just ask God to send you to that person who is going to listen, who's going to believe you, because understood that this is something very serious, very traumatic that you're about to share. So find a trusted person that you know and begin to share that with them. And just let you know, it is your truth to tell. So a lot of times people are scared to hear it because they feel like, is she telling the truth or is he telling the truth? But it is your truth to tell. So don't let no one make you feel like that you have no right to say anything, because you have every right. This is your story. This is your journey. This is your healing journey. And even though they feel uncomfortable, this is your truth and you have every right to tell it. And you are not alone. You are not by yourself. I'm here. I believe you. I'm a survivor. There are countless other survivors out there that believe you, and they understand this journey as well. But as of today, December, what's today? December 4th, December 4th, to let you know that there is no more guilt or no more shame. You don't have to be ashamed. It was not your fault. You are not alone, and you do not have to be ashamed. I am no longer ashamed. Yes, it happened to me. It was not my fault. I didn't cause it. It happened to me. So don't be ashamed to tell your story. And again, you don't have to use a platform like I do, because this is my calling, but find that trusted person and not be ashamed to tell your story. And seek professional help. So you definitely want to seek professional help no matter what. There is nothing wrong with a professional counselor, a therapist. Like, honestly, it is necessary. So these are things that is necessary to your healing. I am going to stress that. Seek a professional counselor. A professional counselor, someone that went to school, that studied trauma, that is specializes in trauma or sexual abuse. Seek out a professional counseling. If you're looking for resources and you need to find them, contact us at info@vosasmagazine.com, and that's info@vosasmagazine.com. Contact us and we will send you out resources so we can help you find a counselor. But definitely look up a professional therapist. They will help you on this journey. You know, now they won't tell you what you need to do, but they will work alongside with you as you begin this journey. So definitely seek a professional counselor. All right. So next, so after you have acknowledged that, okay, yes, I have been sexually abused. Now you have told someone that you trusted. Now what happens next? So now you have to deal with the fact that you exposed this secret. You're dealing with exposure. And let me tell you something. When me and my sister first came out and told our story, now at first it was like, okay, we felt great. But literally immediately after that, I went into regret because I was like, oh my gosh, what have I done? Because now I've opened Pandora's box and there was no closing it back. The secret was out. I felt like, oh, I was ashamed. I felt like, okay, why in the world did I do this? I wanted to go back and like take my words back, but there was no going back. So, what did I have to do to deal with the emotions of exposure? And one thing I had to realize is that God is in the exposing business. And I say that because in order for you to heal, the secret must be exposed. I mean, that's the only way you're going to heal. It has to be exposed. And once it's exposed, your emotions will be all over the place, from relief to regret to fear, guilt, shame, protection, because you want to protect your family, because now they're feeling some kind of way. So now you feel responsible of protecting them. I mean, it's just a range of emotions. So just remember, this is all part of the healing journey. And especially when you are starting. So, when you're starting this journey, your emotions will be all over the place. But understand that you are not alone. So, not only seek out a professional therapist, but there are also support groups. So, there are support groups that will help you with, um, with going through the journey of sexual abuse. And actually, we will be starting support groups back up in 2023. So once it starts, I'll give you guys that information so you'll know where to go to sign up for those groups. Um, but seek out a support group. Seek out a support system. So those that are there to help you through this journey. You know, create a plan for crisis and self care, because there might be a time that it could be late at night. I don't know why that is, but it seems like at nighttime is when all of your fears, emotions, everything comes out. But there are things that you can do. You can create a crisis plan, and you can create a plan for self care. So, crisis plan can be BHR, which is behavioral health response. They actually have a number. I don't have it on hand, but I will post it. I'll post it in the comments below, so that way you'll see that. And you can call them 24/7, and they are there to talk to you whenever you feel like you're in crisis. That's what they're there for. So I will definitely post that number. Create a plan for self care. And self care could be whatever is going to help you move through those times when you are, feeling like, okay, I just need to get away. And it is extremely important to have self care. So some examples for me for self care is meditate on God's word, begin to have your own praise and worship, start journaling. So that's a really, really good thing. I did a lot of journaling when I first started out. Exercise, because exercise not only does it help you lose weight, because baby, I'm on that journey, but it also um, helps you calm down and allows you to relax and just it's really good for you. So definitely exercise, massage therapy, to talk, cry when you need to. It's a way of cleansing. And always remember that God is there. He will never leave you nor forsake you. He will be there with you through this journey. So that's really the most important thing. If you don't know God, I really suggest that you get to know him, because he will help you through this journey. And even if sometimes when you tell your secret, we think that our family is here to support us. Now, unfortunately, for me, my family was there. So I did have a great support system. But unfortunately, that's not the story for everybody. So if your family is not your support system, again, find a support group. If you have a circle of friends that can support you, just seek out the support and allow them to support you and to be there with you as you go through this journey. All right, and then the next thing I want you to know, that never compare yourself to anyone else. Never compare your journey to anyone else. Um, your journey is your own, and I think we do comparison. Honestly, I think that's just a part of who we are as a people. We always compare ourselves to others. And I think social media has really, really played a huge role in comparison. It's almost to our detriment. But don't compare your journey to anyone else. Now, you look at someone else and say, oh my God, they're doing so well. I'm not feeling so good. I'm not doing as well as them. But you don't know truly what's in someone's heart. Like, you don't know how they're feeling on the inside. A lot of times that we look like we're doing great on the outside, but it's kind of a cover up. Or some people may actually are doing well on the outside, but that is their journey. So never compare your journey to anyone else. This is your journey. You own it. You go at your pace. Now, you may feel like, okay, I'm going to a support group tonight, and then you might have one again next week and don't feel like going. But again, this is your journey. You go at your pace. You do what is comfortable for you and what works for you. So, yes, it's good to talk to other people. Yes, that's great. But don't compare. And I think when we get into comparison, that can cause us to even go into depression or feel that our value, we lack value, or you're very hard on yourself because you feel like, well, how is it that they are so far along and I'm not? That's because everybody is different. So don't allow anyone else to tell you how you should heal. This is your truth, and God made you just the way you are. So he knows how you handle things differently from someone else. So this is your journey. This is your truth. Um, this is not your fault. And it doesn't matter what happened, when it happened, how it happened. This is your truth and your journey, and you go at your pace. And just don't allow anyone else to tell you how or when um, you should heal. It's truly up to you. But what I want you to know is that you are worthy to heal. And I say that because I remember, it's a great example. I remember when we were doing support groups at, we had partnered with this organization, and we would go to their facility and we would have our groups there. And I will never forget, it was a lady, and I would say she was an older lady, well, older than me, not too much older than me, but she was an older lady, and she was there, and all we did was tell them that they are worthy to heal and that they had value. And I didn't think nothing of it, honestly. I mean, of course I meant it, but I didn't think that those words would hit anyone like they did. But she was so grateful. And I don't know what that meant to her, but just to tell her that she was worthy and that she had value, she truly took a hold of those words, and that meant the world to her. And after that, we didn't see her too much anymore because I think she left the facility. And but she sent back a message to us to let us know that she heard that, and that she never knew how much worth that she had, and she didn't know how much value she had, and at that moment it pretty much changed her life. So I want you to know that as you go through this journey, that you are worthy and you are valuable, and that you can heal, and you're worthy to go through those things. you know um don't think that this is just for everyone else and not for you. It is for all of us, you included. So if you are trying to debate, should I even deal with this trauma? Should I even go through this journey? Yes, you are worthy to be whole. You are worthy to heal. You have value. God created you, and he did not make a mistake. You are not a mistake, and this is not who you are. So you are worthy to heal. Find a therapist, find a support group, and begin this journey. You do not have to live in bondage anymore, because secrecy is bondage. It really is. And I say that because the enemy will hold that against you. So if you're holding on to a secret in your mind, like these games will be like, oh my God, I can't tell anybody because I have this secret. You feel like you're hiding all the time. But once you release it and you tell it, then you can't be haunted with it anymore. Because guess what? You're like, so what? I've already told that. I've faced that. And that is a freedom like you will never, never understand if you haven't gone through it. It was such a freedom for me when I decided to share my story. Like, because I wasn't hiding anymore. And I was free to be who I truly am. And I was free to have a past. And I was free to overcome trauma. And it was just such a freedom. So just know that your voice has a right to be heard, and you can be free today. Um, so the next thing I want you to know that uh, it's normal to be discouraged. Sometimes you feel like, okay, is it even worth it? Because it's work. So let me not act like you can go through this journey and that you can just do it. No, it is work. It is work. And because it's work, there's a saying that says a lot of people miss opportunity because it's dressed in overalls and it looks like work. Well, this is your opportunity to heal. This is your opportunity to deal with those things that are in your past and you really don't want to, but you feel like, is this even worth it? Yes, it is. It is definitely. There is hope in healing. So don't think that healing is hopeless. It is not hopeless. There is hope in healing, and you can heal. Not only can you heal, you can be free. You can be done with bondage. When I first came out, and I think I've said this before on another podcast, um, a minister at my old church, Mona Lisa Hayes, she said to me, you don't even know you're bound until you're free. Once you become free, you're going to look back and realize how much bondage you truly were in because you were holding on to this secret. But once you release it and go through therapy and begin your journey and find a support group and have a support system and you have a crisis plan and you have a self-care plan, once you go through these things, you would just feel like a new person. You truly will. And I am a testament to that because, my sister as well, we are not the same people that we were 11 years ago. Not. And I love who I'm becoming, and this is every day. Do I have ups and downs? Yes. Are there times that I am victorious and times that I fail? Absolutely. But when I do fail, I just know that I can pick up and I can just keep going. And the same with you. Even as you go through this journey and you get to the point you feel like, is this even possible? And then you give up and you quit. I don't even call it quit. You just rest it for a minute. So just get up, back up once you're done resting and just start over. It's okay to start over as many times as you need to. It is okay. Just don't quit. Just don't completely quit. Just get up and keep going. There is an enemy, and I say an enemy, I am a Christian, but there's an enemy that is trying to keep you bound. He doesn't want to see you prosper or be successful in your journey. So he wants to keep you bound. So you know what? Get up and just keep going. You don't have to remain in bondage. Your truth is your truth, and you can tell, and you can be as quiet as telling one person or as loud as me and telling the world. It's totally up to you. But just know that there is hope in healing. And when you get to the point where maybe you feel like that you need to take a day or a week off, that's fine. Just go to your self-care list. Find your self-care list. Find some things to do to take care of you. It is okay to take care of you. Moms, let me talk to you single parents. It's okay to take care of you. I know that as a single parent, I raised my 3 children, and there were times, well, honestly, all the time, I never made any time for myself. Everything I did was for them. I never had any self-care. I never took time just for me. Maybe once or twice. If they went to their dad's house, maybe once or twice. But once I begin to heal and realize the importance of self-care, now I'm the self-care queen, honey. The self-care queen. I love spending time by myself. I like before I always had to have a loud house, like, just noise, noise, noise. Now I can just sit, chill, and be okay with me. I'm okay with me. And it took a minute for me to get there because, again, I was always focused on the kids, and never really focused on myself, just kind of living, just surviving. And so now I am actually moving through survival, getting to thriving, and it feels really good. So if you have to take a week or a day off, just go back to your self-care list and realize that, what, these are things I can do. And then once you're done, girl, get back, or guy, because there are guys too, get back up and just start over again, or pick up where you were and just keep going. So you don't have to give up. And even if you step backwards, I know sometimes we feel like that when we don't, or we take a week off, we feel like we're stepping back, but that's not necessarily true. Or if you do step back and you say, what, forget this, and you're done for a year, say, what, it's a whole year, I ain't thought no more about that, I'm not dealing with it, but now I think it's time for me to, it's okay. Again, this is your journey, and there is hope in healing. So if it's a year later and you decide, you know what, I'm going to start again, and it's all right. It's all right. And the last thing I want to discuss is a very, very difficult topic, and that is forgiveness. And I know we hear a lot of times that about forgiveness. At first, when I heard it, I was thinking like forgiveness, like how in the world is that going to happen? Because someone violated you. And you may not even want to hear this right now, but I'm just going to throw it out there. You may not even want to hear anything about forgiveness, but just know that forgiveness is part of your journey. Are you angry? What happened to you? Absolutely. And you have every right to be angry. Um, but when you forgive, it's not even for the other person. Because I think sometimes when we forgive, we feel like that we are letting them off the hook, and that's not it. Forgiveness is to allow you to move on, because the person that violated you may have moved on with their lives, and you're still holding on to that bitterness and that anger to the point of now it's taken over, even rage. You're holding on to that, and this person has moved on with their lives. They are still controlling you through your unforgiveness. So when you get to this point, okay, I understand that it's not going to happen tomorrow. Or for some of you, it will happen tomorrow. But when you get to this point, just understand that forgiveness is not for them, it's for you. And once you forgive, it's going to allow you to release a burden that you have been carrying for so long. For so long. Because now you don't have that anger anymore. You don't have that those feelings of resentment. You can let that go, because that is a burden. That is a burden on you. So when you get to the point of forgiveness, that is going to be a true, true, true sign of healing and a true sign of freedom, because now you're no longer carrying that heaviness that you did because you didn't forgive that person that violated you. So, some things that, because when you think about forgiveness, and some things when you don't forgive, your abuser is controlling you. And some ways that they're controlling you is through silence. Silence is control, shame, guilt, trust, problems in relationships, mental health such as depression. Some people have suicidal thoughts, low self esteem, and sometimes you become promiscuous. You know, whatever it is, just don't allow that to control you. Let's seek therapy. Let's seek support groups. Let's reach out to those who have been through this and who can help you through this journey. All of these things that I have talked to you about today, and if I know it's a lot kind of that we covered, so if you need to go back, watch this over and over again till you begin to say, you know what, it's time for me to start this journey. And one last thing that I do want to say, if this has happened to you and you decide that you want to go to law enforcement, you absolutely can. That is your choice. And that's all I'm going to say about that. That is your choice. That is your decision to make. But just know that you can do that. That is definitely an option. But that is an option, and that is your option for you to make. No one else to make that for you. So healing is a journey, and it's a lifetime. Now went over some steps to kind of help you begin that process, and just know that you can move as needed. You can go through this process as it works for you. Again, I'm going to stress everyone's journey is different. So, however, whatever works for you may not work for someone else, but find what works for you and begin that journey. You were sexually violated, and unfortunately, this is an issue that you will be conquering for the rest of your life. And that's unfortunate, but it's true, because there are things such as triggers, and triggers might be a smell of a cologne, a music, noise, or something that will take you back to that trauma or take you back to that time that you were violated. And just as you begin your healing journey and you go through this process and you go through therapy and you go through support groups, you will learn what your triggers are. And once you learn what your triggers are, then you can set those boundaries on places that you go, people that you see, things that you do that will help you to get through those triggers. I kind of know what my triggers are. So again, there are certain movies that I won't watch, certain things that I'm setting for my own boundaries to keep myself from going back to that space, or sometimes I just have to go through it and deal with those things. And, I have a therapist and I don't go, um, like I used to. Now I'm on what's called maintenance, and I go as needed. But there are times I have to go back and discuss some things, from my past, or things that might come up that may trigger me. That's just a part of the journey. Um, and lastly, God gave us the ultimate example of healing and love by sending his son Jesus to die on the cross for us. Even some of us who didn't even want him to, don't even want him now. But that is the ultimate love. So just know that you are loved. You can be totally restored, delivered, and healed, and you can walk in complete healing. And when you do that, now you become a light for others. And that's the ultimate goal, honestly, is to be a light for other people. So, again, just know that this is your journey. You can acknowledge, you can find a person to talk to, find a therapist, a support group. You can create a crisis plan, create a self care plan. You can forgive once you get to that point, and you know that there is hope in healing. So, again, this is your journey. You can start whenever it's comfortable for you. If you need information on support groups or the number for BHR, again, I'm going to put that in the comments. Um, we are here for that purpose. So I am excited about this journey that you're about to embark on. We're starting a new year very soon, 2023. I hope this is one of your goals, that you begin to seek out a way that you can start this healing journey. I am rooting for you. My entire team is rooting for you. We are excited that you're going to start, because we know on the other side is victory, and on the other side is freedom. Other side is healing. It is joy, peace, all of it. So I am very excited about this journey for you, and I can't wait to hear the testimonies of those who are going through this journey. So again, I am your host, Dee Marie. Thank you all so much for always tuning in and supporting this podcast. We're going to keep going because this is my assignments, and I actually love doing it. So again, you guys, I'm really excited about this journey that you're about to embark on. Trust me, it is going to be life-changing for you. And not only will you heal, your family will heal, your children, and everything. So it is a journey and it is work. And it's not always tiptoe through the tulips. It is work. But if you just stick with it and if you just do the work, there is victory on the other side. Well, again, thank you all for tuning in. That's all I got for you today. And if you are wanting to get in contact with us to get some information, you can email us at info@vosasmagazine.com. And that's info@vosasmagazine.com. And I am your host, Dee Marie. All right, I'll catch you guys next week. Bye.